This video presentation is brought to you by the Pro Mathematics Academy. Welcome back to this video presentation brought to you by the Pro Mathematics Academy, right? And in this series, we're looking at the circle. And in this video in particular, we're going to be talking about the segment and the sector of a circle, right? So we begin by defining what is a segment. And here we start with the definition, right? A segment, right? I'm sure you can find more rigorous definitions out there. But here we're going to think about a segment as the portion of a circle or region that exists when the circle is divided by a chord. I mean, that sounds like a mouthful, but what we're saying here is that if I take my circle and I draw in a chord right here, then this chord divides the circle into two segments. Okay? So let's make a note here. We have our major segment, right? And here we have our minor segment. Okay, so let me shade that in, right? So all of this region here is our major segment, and all of this region here is our minor segment. So once we have a chord dividing a circle, right, then those two regions which the circle is divided into are segments. Okay, awesome. Notice that there is a special case, right? If I divide this circle into two halves, then major segment and minor segment are both equal. Okay, so here I'm saying if the chord dividing the circle is the diameter, then the major segment is equal to the minor segment. And this is a special case because a segment depends on a chord, and that chord can be a diameter. Then we can have major segment and minor segment being equal. Okay, so not all the times the major segment is bigger than the minor segment. Okay, which means the minor segment would be smaller than the major segment. Sometimes they are both equal. Okay, moving right along, right? Here we have what we call the sector of the circle, right? And I'm not going to use any technical definitions here. I'm going to actually use something very, very simple. So I'll define a sector to be a slice of pizza representing a portion of the circle, right? And for now, this definition is okay because we're at the basic level of mathematics. Nobody will ask you what the definition of a sector is, right? But just so we can understand visually, right, whenever we're given a sector, we can think about a slice of pizza. Okay, so that's what you need to ask yourself in your mind, right? So here I'm going to shade in one such sector here, right? And what we'll realize is that in general, right, and this is in general, guys, when you have a sector, right, one of the sectors can be what we call our minor sector, and the other proportion or portion, right, of the circle represents the, that's right, you guessed it, represents the major sector. Okay, so likewise, is there ever a time when the major sector and the minor sector are equal? Of course, right? So here I'm going to give you an example, but before I draw it perfectly, I'm going to try to do a imperfect example that almost looks like it. So I'm assuming that's going to the center. Now, if we look at this slice of pizza, right, we see that we have our minor sector on this side, and we have our major sector on this side. notice what I'm trying to show you is that here our minor sector almost equals our major sector. Our minor is almost equal to our major sector, right? So when will these two sectors be equal? And I think that's a simple one for us, right? Here, all I have to do is split my circle in half. So here we have the minor sector being equal to the major sector. And here we're supposed to realize something. We're supposed to realize that, hey, a sector can be a segment. Okay? A sector can be a segment. Let's write that in. Okay, and this is our important takeaway here. If the major sector is equal to the minor sector, then the sector is a segment. Okay? That is it for this video. Please remember to hit the notification bell, like, share, and subscribe for future post notification.